Smartisan still is a very young phone maker and just recently introduced its first flagship phone called the Smartisan R1. The phone offers awesome specs at an attractive price tag and is the first available phone with up to 1 TB of internal memory. I'm Christopher for China Mobile Mac and tested this phone for you guys. The review device has been bought by me at CSD Shop, where it currently is being sold from 539 euros. Down in the video description is an exclusive 10 euros coupon code. In terms of the looks, the Smartisan R1 is a very refreshing phone. The company managed to create a very unique design by playing with various design elements, making the phone look very different from all those similar looking high-end competitors out there. It's just a very beautiful and well-crafted device with a very decent build quality, totally on par with what you would expect when paying 500 bucks for a phone. The interesting metal frame design, which is flat and slightly angled towards the front and rear, where it seamlessly meets up with the glass panels, makes it feel very nice in the hand. The dimensions of the phone are 153.3 by 74.5 by 7.8 millimeters and the weight is 170 grams, which underlines the high quality aspect of the design without making the phone too heavy. One highlight on the phone's rear is the large Smartisan logo, which at the same time also is a fingerprint scanner. Due to the size, it's very easy to hit the sensor, and along the high reliability and speed of the sensor, this eliminates failed unlocking attempts almost entirely. In addition, there also is face unlock and you can use both technologies at the same time. Face unlock works very well and is really fast. Cheating with a picture of the phone's owner does not work. Face unlock also works in the dark, but unlocking time will be increased then. For the screen, Smartisan uses a 6.17-inch LCD panel. While this might sound too large, the phone remains relatively small due to the very slim bezels. Both the chin area as well as the upper left and right bezels are slimmer than on the Mix 2S, resulting in a better screen-to-body ratio. The quality of the LCD panel is top-notch. Really, the R1 packs one of the best phone screens that I have seen until today. The picture just looks stunning and thanks to the resolution of 2242 by 1080 pixels, it is very sharp as well. But the most impressive aspect of the screen are black levels. If you don't know it is an LCD screen, you would think it's an OLED panel due to the deep blacks and awesome contrast. Only when using the phone in full darkness you will see a slight light sheen on black areas. And the good black levels do indeed come handy since they help hiding the very small notch for the front camera. During daily use you pretty much never notice the notch, so even if you don't like the notch trend, it's likely that you won't be bothered by this one. If there is anything to complain about, then it's partially the outdoor readability. Partially it is because it depends on what is displayed. Bright content is fine, but dark stuff is hard to see under direct sunlight. The touchscreen supports up to 10 touch points and reacts to inputs without any noticeable delay, which makes up for a nice feel when typing fast along the intense and precise tactile feedback that, by the way, doesn't make much of a noise. Accuracy is very good too, so all in all an excellent touch panel they are using there. One highlight, which for whatever reason isn't advertised by Smartisan, is the support of Force Touch or 3D Touch. Apps that do support this offer you some extra options or shortcuts if you press hard on items. The screen glass offers a smooth surface with a good amount of slip and doesn't attract fingerprints too much. It also is easy to clean if there are some smudges. The only negative thing is that they only use Gorilla Glass 3, which definitely does scratch when not handling it with care, so better order a tempered glass with your R1. Equipped with a Snapdragon 845, the Smartisan R1 offers plenty of processing power, which in the near time surely won't be exhausted by any apps or games. Day-to-day performance is just awesome, no lags, no stutter, no waiting times, it's just a very snappy user experience that makes up for a lot of fun when using the phone. It runs buttery smooth and just is a pleasure to use. Subjectively, it feels even faster than the Mix 2S by Xiaomi, which might be due to the better optimization and more efficient animations. When I put the cooling to the test, I was surprised because the R1 actually shows less thermal throttling than the previously tested Mix 2S, which is identical in terms of processing power. During daily use, the R1 almost never gets more than just slightly warm to the touch. The R1 packs 6 or 8 GB of speedy LPDDR4X dual-channel RAM, which is a tad faster than on the Mix 2S, reaching almost 22 GB per second of bandwidth. The RAM management is top-notch, switching between apps is really fast, and apps opened in the morning will still pop right up in the evening. Internal storage is based on fast UFS 2.1. It can't be expanded though, but that's not much of an issue since you can order the R1 with 64 GB, 128 GB, 512 GB and even 1 TB of internal storage. The R1 isn't missing any of the important sensors and ticks pretty much all boxes there. There also are no issues with them either. The USB Type-C port offers support for USB 3.1, which means high speeds and even video output support. The Smartisan R1 can actually be used as a PC alternative, but unfortunately that's only possible using Smartisan's TNT Station. Smartisan TNT Station is a special dock for the R1, which offers an inbuilt and movable screen, a touch panel, as well as a mouse and keyboard. For the future, I would personally love support for standard Type-C hubs in order to enable use of the desktop mode without buying the TNT Station. Right now, if you attach a Type-C hub with HDMI out, only the phone's screen gets mirrored, which is kinda useless. But besides of that, it's really impressive what they have done with the TNT Station there. It kinda puts the concept of using a phone as a PC alternative to a whole new level, and it really is unfortunate that I didn't have the chance to test this, since right now no resellers offer the TNT Station for purchase outside of China. The OS running on the Smartisan R1, by the way, isn't only interesting due to its desktop mode. The smartphone UI called Smartisan OS is very interesting as well. Currently it is based on Android 8.1 Oreo with a security patch from April. It does support OTA updates, and while testing the phone 2 weeks, I got 3 updates already. To answer the usual questions up front, yes, Smartisan OS packs quite a lot of China bloatware, but don't worry, apart from the Smartisan system apps, you can just uninstall them. No, the Google Play Store does not come pre-installed, but it can be installed with just a few taps. When you open up the account settings and tap on Google there, the phone offers you a Google installer. Once installed, you can use this to install the Google Play services. It really is that simple. The biggest flaw, however, is language support. Right now, Smartisan OS only supports Chinese and English, so if you want to use apps in your native language, you have to use MoreLocal2 for that. One more negative thing is that, like with some other manufacturers as well, the R1 packs some spy software according to ESET antivirus. It's located inside the radio application, but it can be uninstalled completely, so in the end, this isn't much of a big deal. Smartisan OS itself is great, and while using it on a daily basis, I really fell in love with it. It is impressive how much attention to detail this young manufacturer put into this custom ROM. The redesigned user interface is very well made and looks entirely different from stock Android. But even with this amount of customization, the UI doesn't look confusing or inconsistent. It looks nice, beautiful, and navigation is very efficient. It also packs a lot of small details like a nice looking grouping of notifications or optical highlighting of apps inside the app switcher that are playing audio in the background, which makes Smartisan OS a very unique smartphone operating system. In terms of looks and features, Smartisan OS is spot on and a pleasure to use. But Smartisan went even further, and next to offering tons of different settings and small features, also implemented some big features that are very unique and can't be found on other phones. One example for that are the so-called idea pills. This is kind of a system-wide notes or reminder application which you can open up by swiping from the right screen bezel with your finger. You then can create as many idea pills as you like, containing notes or tasks, and you can assign colors to them. This is a very useful feature to note ideas or tasks without having to leave the application you currently use. In case you already know Handshaker, which is also developed by Smartisan, you can also sync your idea pills with your PC or Mac through Wi-Fi, which is very convenient. Another awesome feature is called OneStep. This is kind of a special multitasking and sharing tool which aims at reducing the steps needed when switching through multiple apps and sharing content between them. OneStep can either be opened using a gesture or by self-defined button combinations. Once opened, the app area gets smaller and two bars get displayed. The right bar is for switching between apps and sharing content. The upper bar offers you quick access to pictures, files and your clipboard. OneStep is incredibly convenient when sharing stuff from one application to another. When using the gallery, you can just drag any picture out of it and drop it onto an application icon, which then will share this file with this application. The same thing also works in the web browser. Just select text or pictures and share it fast and convenient with any application. This saves a lot of time on a daily basis, and once you got used to it, you will never want to go back. The only downside is that OneStep doesn't work equally well with all third-party applications. So Smartisan OS is quite amazing, but of course there are a few drawbacks as well. One issue is that even when disabling energy and network management, notifications of messenger apps in standby mode often arrive with a 15-minute delay. Also, GPS apps like Runtastic or Google Maps are paused in standby mode. In addition, I faced some issues with password managers like LastPass because Smartisan OS does not support Android Oreo's new Autofill API at the moment. In mobile networks, the R1 offers support for almost all frequencies used globally, so it should work in pretty much all countries. The reception quality is top-notch. In Wi-Fi, the R1 uses the AC standard with 2x2 MU-MIMO and offers a maximum link speed of 700 Mbit per second. Here again, signal strength and reception quality are top-notch. Bluetooth 5.0 is supported as well and offers a decent range. NFC is on board too and was working fine when testing it with a NFC tag. GPS reception quality is very good too. The phone gets a fix within 2 seconds and is very accurate when navigating or tracking. Something that amazed me is how good this phone sounds when playing music or videos. It offers excellent stereo audio with an impressive dynamic range and surprisingly intense bass. In addition, it sounds equally good both on higher and lower volume levels. One downside is that the R1 doesn't pack a 3.5mm jack, but you do get a Type-C adapter with it that offers a very good audio quality. Something that disappointed me a little is telephony performance. Don't get that wrong, call quality itself isn't bad, but the noise cancelling doesn't work well, which is strange since the R1 boasts stereo noise cancelling mics. Loud background noise or wind noise isn't filtered out at all, which can lead to issues understanding each other. Let's hope for a fast fix there. When it comes to high-end, nowadays this doesn't end with the processor. Camera has to be high-end as well, and yep, that's the case on the R1 as well. The camera doesn't reach the level of the best performing phones out there, but still it is very good. The main dual camera consists of a 12 megapixel Sony IMX363 with f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization, plus a 20 megapixel Sony IMX350 with f1.75 aperture. The front camera offers a whopping 25 megapixels resolution and a f2.0 aperture. The picture quality at daylight looks good. Sometimes landscape shots do lack a bit of detail on the distance, but you can only notice that on a very large screen or when zooming in. Pictures shot in a shorter distance look crisp and sharp with a ton of detail. Color-wise, the results often are impressive, and the camera does a great job taking pictures of flowers and such things, especially when doing macro shots, by the way. The only thing that's kinda useless is HDR mode, which often creates overexposed and washed out looking pictures, but that's not much of a big deal since dynamic range is pretty good even without HDR mode. The bokeh mode of the R1 is very well done. It doesn't reach the accuracy of, let's say, a OnePlus 5T or the Huawei P20 Pro, but it still does decent shots even with less available light. The bokeh effect also looks pretty good and realistic with a decent amount of circles of confusion. A very useful feature that you don't find often on dual camera phones is the possibility of editing bokeh shots afterwards. In the editing tool you can change the intensity of the bokeh effect to make it look more realistic or hide inaccuracies. Aside from that, you can also refocus your pictures to make other areas look sharp. At night, the Smartisan R1 performs similar to the Mi Mix 2S. It does catch a bit less light, but in terms of sharpness and detail, the images look pretty much the same. The optical image stabilization also works for pictures, which helps getting sharp pictures at night. What I am kinda disappointed with is long exposure and manual mode. For some reason, even when using the manual focus, landscape shots with a long exposure always are out of focus. A long exposure only works well with a shorter distance, for example inside a city. The 25 megapixel front camera is a very decent selfie shooter. At daylight the picture quality is very good, but even with less available light the camera does incredibly bright and detailed shots. Recording videos with the R1 works great as well. The main camera records in 4K with a very good picture quality. The optical image stabilization works very good, much better than on any Xiaomi phone. In addition, audio quality is very good as well. And even the front camera does good videos, but only with a maximum resolution of Full HD there. Slow motion videos are possible with up to 1080p resolution, but Smartisan doesn't indicate which frame rate they use, but to me it looks like 120 FPS. The last stop before the final verdict as usual is battery life. The R1 performs pretty good there. 3600 mAh is the size of the battery, and this makes up for a full day of intense usage or 2 days with less intense usage. With roughly 9 hours of continuous screen on time, the R1 is way ahead of the Mix 2S there. For charging you can choose between using the supplied Quick Charge 4 Plus charger or USB power delivery. Both charge the battery from 20% to 100% within a bit more than 1 hour. In addition, there also is support for Qi wireless charging with up to 10 watts, but this feature came out to be implemented in a rather bad way. The antenna is very small and needs very accurate alignment, which is just stupid. Plugging a cable actually is faster than getting wireless charging to work. In addition, I wasn't able to use 10 watts Qi. The phone got very hot while charging extremely slow. Only with a 5 watts Qi charger it did work. So, what's the verdict? Well, in my opinion, the Smartisan R1 is quite an impressive piece of kit. Smartisan demonstrates that even newcomers can do very impressive phones, and especially in the software department, Smartisan actually leaves behind all of its competitors in terms of features, attention to detail and design. The latter one, of course, being a thing of personal taste here. The Smartisan R1 is a great phone, not without its flaws, but with a very fair price tag considering the specs. If you want to try something different from Xiaomi, Meizu or OnePlus, or just need a large amount of internal memory, this surely is the way to go. And with that being said, we reached the end of this review. A shop link, a 10 euros coupon code and more information are located down in the video description. I was Christopher for CMM, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.